Paul, how are you this evening?
Uh, Drinking away all my sorrows.
Drinking away all your sorrows. You got sorrows this week? Hadn't been a good week?
Yeah, the old butt kicking last week.
Yeah, so, all right, welcome into Cash and Tickets, everybody. Brought to you by Poolside Bets. That's us. That's me, Franklin Johnson, and my partner, Paul Robinson, next to me. So, yeah, so we'll take a quick look back at week 4 and what happened in college football, maybe talk a little NFL if we got anything. But before we get to any of the looking back, anything you want to discuss, talk about last week that caught your eye or things we should be looking forward to?
Nah, I mean pretty much everything we kind of thought was gonna happen. The Oregon Colorado game went about like you thought it would. Which for me, it's a whole different matchup this week. I don't think USC and Oregon you could say it's the same team.
No,
I'm not saying
especially not defensively.
Yeah, I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying it's just a completely different matchup for Colorado. Yeah, I don't know. Some really, really big games last week. I don't know. Did we learn anything? We didn't learn nothing.
What did we learn? I don't. I mean, I know Ole Miss got beat pretty good. Alabama covered the spread.
Outcoached.
Well, the offensive line, like we talked about, the offensive line's got issues. I don't think that Alabama figured anything out offensively. They kind of looked the way I thought they would look. It's just that the defense was on the field so long. They played a wonderful first half, and I think they just got tired because the offense couldn't move the ball.
Some questionable play calling too. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't. They're gonna have to do something to get the running game going. Well, I don't know what they're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to change some schemes, try something. Because if you're not gonna be able to run the ball, you're gonna lose a bunch of games in the SEC if you can't run it.
Texas A&M may be better than we thought, but they lose Connor Wagman. So
Yeah, he's out now. Max Johnson. Max Johnson didn't look bad because we had that game on. We watched some of that game. I think what you learned is the offense for Auburn is really, really bad. Yeah, it's going to take some time there. They don't have a quarterback, but I'm sure Hugh Freeze will figure that out.
Clemson screws the pooch. They had every chance to win the ball game. And
Well, they try. I mean, yeah, they it's second game of the year. Where they probably the Duke game got out of hand, but boy, they did everything to help Duke in that game. And then the big kicker story that was going on the whole time, and then the kid goes out there and misses the chip shot late. The thing ends up going to overtime.
Utah, UCLA. It's not your daddy's Pac-12. 14-7 final score.
Right. I mean, we knew that Utah defense was good, but when they got to that freshman quarterback for UCLA, and they're a different team at home. I mean, they're really, really good at home. They got a big test tomorrow night going to Corvallis to take on the Beavers. Speaking of, this Cam Ward out at Washington State continues to impress. I mean, he's been incredible out there. Him and Michael Penix maybe coming. I mean, look at this Heisman race. 3 quarterbacks from the Pac-12.
Yeah, good.
Penix, Ward, of course, Caleb Williams. I mean, right? They have to be your top 3 right now, I would imagine.
And what a way to go out for the Pac-2.
Yeah, and that was a Pac-2 showdown. Yeah. It was the only 2 teams left in it. Well, Oregon State and Washington State squared off last week.
Arkansas took LSU to the brink, couldn't get it done.
Yeah, I think that showed you that LSU has just got some troubles on the back end. Their front 7 is really good, but they got trouble in the back. But boy, they got an absolutely amazing guy, wide receiver in that Malik Neighbors. State and Arkansas, neither one have found a way to stop him. And Daniels played a good game.
Yeah, Notre Dame needs to learn math. I guess they don't teach
Goodness
that at the
gracious!
Catholic
How do you, 2 plays in a row? You playing defense with 10 players?
Tough game physically for both squads.
I mean, I really thought Notre Dame was going to pull that out. That's tough.
Yeah, what's that total that our guy from Iowa's got to get to?
Oh my God, he's not going to get
whatever
that.
it was last week. It ain't gone.
It's bad,
same total.
They get a bad Michigan State team, but still, I don't know that Iowa can score against anybody.
Yeah. State played South Carolina closer than I thought they would at night.
Well, they finally decided to let Will Rogers throw it around. I think he threw 40-something passes in that game.
Look out.
They said, you know what we're doing ain't working. Let's go back to let Rogers sling it, and he looked better.
If you're Minnesota goes up there and loses to Northwestern, I
Man,
don't know how
that's
the hell
that's a
that
horrible loss. That's a horrible loss. Speaking of bad losses, Southern Miss
happened.
loses to Arkansas State. Um, yeah, that's bad.
Gross.
Uh,
That's about it. I mean,
I mean, then of course the NFL, the 70 burger that the Dolphins dropped on. Who was that they put? The Denver?
Yeah.
Denver? Oh my goodness.
said they wouldn't give him an interview for the head coaching job, so he went up there and dropped 70 of them. That's
Man,
funny.
that is a lot
I
of
don't-
points.
I don't think we necessarily learned anything we didn't already know. I mean,
As far as college or NFL, I don't think either way. Something we already knew is the Cowboys will find a way to lose games they should win.
I think the Pac, yeah, golly. I think the Pac-12 defensively is better than they ever been. That's surprising me.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. You know, that Washington State-Oregon State game just got out of hand, especially late. Oregon State still had some chances there at the end of that game. But, yeah, a lot more defense in the Pac-12 than we've seen before.
Well, that's about it for me. I'm excited about this week's slate. I'm ready to put last week's behind us, so we can go ahead and do that.
All right, you want to go ahead and do that? Let's take a look. We'll recap last week. I didn't put anything outside of mine because just so that the betting world, the watching world knows that
What a
all of these that you see under Frankie J, those are all winners. We're just putting out winners here.
We need to recap the last couple shows and make sure we put out all the L's and W's.
Oh, we did. I
out.
put when the last one when I had L's, I put the L's out there.
What a
So your boy goes 6-0 here, and some of those lines could have been moved even more, and they still would have covered. North Carolina, Maryland absolutely did their job. Air Force beat the ever-loving shit out of San Jose State
Good team.
in the second half. The only one that was close was Duke UConn. Took some time, but Duke did what I thought they could do, go hang 40 on UConn.
another good team.
And A&M was teetering for a while, but Auburn literally only put up 3 offensive points. They got a touchdown defensively. And Florida State, with the big win in overtime, kept their hopes and dreams alive for an ACC title. As I think their schedule's pretty easy. I think Clemson was the really only test they were going to have this year. Yeah. Take a look over at Paul's side. It started rough, and halfway through it got worse. And as we got towards the bottom, it got even.
Well,
You want to explain yourself, Paul, with the 1-5 week? Anything you want to?
The only one that I just don't know what happened was the Sam Houston State. Houston beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, that was tough. I didn't see that coming.
App State, Wyoming, no excuses. I mean, they had 4 field goals in the first half. I mean, they scored 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and that
first
covers.
half, and I'm covered there. Yeah. For the rest of that, no excuses. I mean, Tulsa
Well,
and-
Arizona lost their quarterback, and we didn't know that at the time. I mean, they lost it during the game, and that may have been the reason but they gave up 20
He
points.
doesn't play defense. No.
That's true.
Yeah, Memphis, Missouri did their job, but I mean, overall, tough week. Even Tyson got knocked down and lost, so there we go.
Well, you lost 2 quarterbacks in yours. Arizona lost their quarterback in Rice. JT Daniels goes down for Rice.
Oh yeah, that was the other one that didn't play. He didn't play defense, but they got to stop somebody. It didn't matter.
Well, that's true. That's true.
You got to stop somebody. That was just pitiful. Piss
And
poor defensively football.
We missed big again on our charity play. Minnesota gets beat by Northwestern, and Southern Miss gets beat by Arkansas State. Two of the worst teams in college
Might
football.
have well had Dallas and Baltimore on it some bitch too. Might have made it down.
Yeah, really turn it up good. Yeah, that's tough. That was a tough play there to see those 2 teams go down. Of those 5, I did not see those 2 losing. So that I forgot to change the week. It says week 3, but it was actually week 4. That's my bad. I forgot to change that. And I don't think on the next one I changed the week number either. So y'all just have to bear with us. Understand that it's week 5 coming up.
We gotta have a meeting with.
Yeah, I didn't get in here.
team.
Yeah, our production crew didn't get it all together. Wasn't on time. Wasn't ready.
No.
Anything we're looking forward to this week? Any games you want to point out before we start?
Before we start,
Yeah, giving the picks.
doing the old capping.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few games. That Utah Oregon State game's gonna settle some trail dust in the Pac-12, I believe.
Yeah, tomorrow night. I mean, we'll find out just how good Utah is because they're leaving the comforts of their home and headed out to Corvallis to take on the Beavers, who are looking to rebound from the tough loss to Washington State.
SEC SEC East matchup, Florida Kentucky.
Yeah,
Kind of starts to separate. If Kentucky can beat Florida at home in the morning, then it'll.
and here's the thing: if they can't beat Florida,
They
I
don't.
mean, I don't see their season going anywhere because Florida still can't score, regardless of what they did at Tennessee. Graham Mertz is not the guy.
Colorado gets to answer the bell, come back out, take another swing at a high-powered Pac-12 school.
Yep.
73.5 probably won't be enough. I didn't bet this
That is
thing.
a ton.
It's probably going to be like 62 to 60 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why that line, that 21.5, that scares me because Caleb Williams may not play the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They got bigger hopes and dreams than just beating Colorado, so that they could get a comfortable lead, and then Colorado never takes Shiloh out. He just keeps getting. I'm concerned for his safety for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
He's getting pummeled.
Georgia Auburn, that ought to be a shellacking.
Oh,
Why is that line coming down?
It's coming down off of 14.
No, it was at 17.5 down to 14.
Oh, now it's down to 14. Okay. I don't know. I don't. Auburn's defense is pretty good, I guess, but I don't know that they can score a point.
No. Of course, LSU Ole Miss ought to be fun at night.
Well, you got the big matchup that always gets weird in Arlington, Texas, between the Aggies and the Razorbacks. They always play that in a neutral site.
Yeah, a little revenge for Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, he scared the shit out of Arkansas when he was at Missouri State last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fourth quarter game, and he just kept every trick he had in his bag, he was pulling it out.
And the game nobody wants to see, Michigan State, Iowa. Yeah, no, it's good matchups, man. We're gonna talk about a few of these that we didn't name there, just that we probably got picks on, but.
Yeah, and I don't know if we missed. I mean, Kansas, Texas. That's it's a top 25 matchup. I don't think it's going to be close, but
yeah, I like that over there.
That's a decent match. It's a chance for Kansas to show what they're made of, and chance for Texas to keep saying we're back, whatever that entails. So yeah, and then the other top 25 matchup, like you mentioned, the LSU Tigers are going to Oxford to take on Ole Miss Rebels. Notre Dame game day in Raleigh. I mean, in Durham.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, I think.
Some
of it.
Yeah. So that's the big game day game. I'll have to turn that on and check out what they got going on. You see how crazy those fans are, the Cameron crazies. Mm-hmm. If you multiply that by a whole lot more, I wonder if they get even more, or do the same type of kids watch the football, the ones that watch basketball.
It's the biggest game in Duke football history.
Has to be, right?
I don't see any other way, shape, form, or fashion that this game is the biggest thing that's ever happened to that campus.
Yeah, I guess the one thing you can say is that campus knows how to handle big games because they've done it in basketball. Yeah. They understand it. They just don't know what football is, what that type of excitement is.
Who's the guest picker, they said yet?
I haven't heard. I don't know. Do they go with Coach K?
It's got to be Coach K.
I would imagine. I mean, who else? You go get a player that is retired.
Shane Battier.
I mean, there's plenty of players, obviously, that people know. Bring back Christian Laettner. People love to hate on him.
JJ Redick.
Yeah. Let JJ would be great. Yeah. He has a wonderful podcast. He would be a great picker, I think.
Yeah.
If I couldn't get K, I think I'd go for JJ Redick.
JJ chant going for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right, so you want to get into picks or just want to talk about some of these games specifically?
Nah, we can just get into it if you want to.
Okay, well, let's pull it up. Here we go. Like I said, I didn't even put the week out there. You don't see it. So there's our records. Poolside Bets as a group is 25, 20, and 1 as a partnership. I'm now I was 8-9 coming in this week. Now 14-9, and Paul was well above 500, and then he had the rough week, but he's still 11-11-1. So then again, that's how you get the 25-20-1 for poolside bets. So
If we could just both get it together on the same week, maybe
we both
be
had
rolling.
we both have had big weeks, but yet we have both had the one bad week. I had the bad week 1, and then you had the bad week 4. So we try to get this thing turned around, and got 12 picks out there. Maybe we can get something like 9-3, 10-2 this week.
Let's get it.
All right, so I'm going to start.
Go ahead.
I'm going to start here with just going to go down my list. So I'll start at the top. Missouri Tigers are headed to Nashville to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. This is more of a fade, the Commodores pick, than it is. I like the athletes on Missouri's defense. They got some dogs there. They've been giving up some points, but man, that performance they put on against K-State was really good. Of course, that was at home, and it was a big game. But Cook has been playing really well, and they've got the best player on the field in Luther Burden. And sometimes he's the best player on the field no matter who they're playing. He's dynamite, the wide receiver position. He's super fast. Vandy's got nobody that can keep up with him. It's a big line at 13.5.
Nah,
and
really. It's going up.
And I know they have a big game next week, so that it may be a look-ahead thing.
They ever finish the stadium
Missouri?
at Vanderbilt?
No, I think still in disarray. So there's going to be nobody there. So Vandy may be sleeping too. What sucks is I think A.J. Swan is a decent quarterback. He's just stuck at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Missouri.
I'm just hoping they get a big lead like Kentucky did last week and just hang on.
Well, it's like the dead hour. It's a 3:00 SEC game of nap of the afternoon.
Yeah,
Nobody's
it's on
going to
the-
give
yeah.
two shits about this one.
Nobody watches the SEC Network game at 3.
No, 90% of the money on Missouri, which is probably right. It's going up. It started at 10, up to 13.5, up 3.5 points. It's going to be probably a shellacking over in Nashville.
Yeah, I just hope they get it done early. You know, like have a 20 to 3 at the half or more,
Yeah.
and just or maybe 30 to 3 at the half, and then just cruise that thing in to get my. I'm a little nervous about it, but I put it on here because I don't think Vandy can do anything.
Yeah.
You know, can keep up. They couldn't keep up with the Kentucky. Kentucky runs the ball and plays slow. So
Vanderbilt's 5-0 to the over this year. Just something to watch.
wow. Well, that's because they've been putting up points. You know,
Or
the
getting the
Hawaii.
hell beat up.
I know the Hawaii game, the UNLV game. The Swan's not a bad quarterback. I just think there's too much on Missouri's defense that it's going to be tough.
Gotcha. All right, I'm going to start mine tonight. Boy, we're getting all the stuff.
Yeah, people are blowing us up.
Yeah.
Like we don't have anything going on.
Yeah. Got church rehearsal and all that. All right, Tulsa minus 3.5 versus Temple tonight, 6:30 kick. I know this is late. I couldn't help it. I already bet it, so I put it out as a play. ESPN Thursday night. Tulsa should be able to run the ball, control the clock. Tulsa defense is better than the numbers. Remember, they played Washington and Oklahoma. So if you look at their stats, it's a little misleading because of the huge game. I mean, they're probably the 1-2 maybe
Yeah.
in the country in offense. Temple last week had to come from behind to beat Akron. So I don't see them hang. This thing shouldn't be close. It should be 7 or 10, but it's 3.5, and we'll take it at Tulsa. So give me Tulsa, the Golden Wave, minus 3.5.
Yeah, I like that game. I've got some play on it tonight. I just didn't put it in as a pick. So I'm on that side as well.
And it just started.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that you're on the right side of that.
We didn't do good last Thursday when the game was going. We're like, oh, goodness.
No, we didn't. All right, so I'll move on to my next pick, and we'll go to the Sun Belt. And I think I have 3 Sun Belt plays this week, Paul. I don't know what I just realized that when I was putting it up here. So the Texas State Bobcats are headed to Hattiesburg to take on the Southern Miss Eagles. Southern Miss, and here literally this is my play right here. Southern Miss is 126th on defense out of 133 FBS teams. Is that good?
Well, it sounds like they could use a little coaching.
Just so you know, the closer you are to 133, the worse you are. You want to be closer to the number 1 in the ranking.
And they did not play Oklahoma and Washington.
No, they haven't. They played Arkansas State last week.
Just to be ugh.
And Texas State is a team that's averaging 30 points a game,
That's a good, well-coached football team.
going up against a bad Southern Miss defense.
You're on 82% of the money on the spread at 2 Southern Miss. That is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know that Southern Miss has been getting play this year. I think they thought they were going to be better because they were a little more improved last year, but it has not translated to this year.
Opened up at 7.5 down to 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, I would have taken this game at 7.5, 8.
Yeah, Texas State's the better team here.
So I just don't think they can be stopped. The Bobcats will probably give up some points, but you're going to give me 5.5. I'm taking that all day.
Yeah, all you do is find Frank Gore wherever he's at, and his 18th
shut that
year
down.
in college, and just trip him up. He's got to be getting arthritis or something.
God bless him. I hate it because, man, I loved his dad when he was with the 49ers. So much fun to watch. I mean, yeah, Texas State's 3-1. Southern Miss is 1-3. I know at this point records don't always mean anything because of who you've played, but Southern Miss hadn't played, any big boys, and they're 1-3. Texas State's got the big win, opening win over Baylor. That TJ Finley, he was at LSU, and then I think he went to Auburn. He's found a home here at Texas State, and he's really good. 8 touchdowns to 1 pick. I just see them scoring early and often.
I hear you.
All right.
I like it. My next play is 11 o'clock on ABC. Syracuse +7, hosting the Clemson Tigers. Clemson's coming off an emotional loss to Florida State. They should have won that game. I'm thinking a low-scoring defensive battle here, but Clemson is 126th in the country in red zone offense. Means they can't score touchdowns. So if you're settling for field goals in a close game, the Cuse defense leads the country in red zone defense. So they keep them out of the end zone. So one can't score, and the other one ain't going to let you score. So
yeah, and I've seen a lot of love for Clemson this week, just from talking heads. I realize Garrett Strader's having to do a lot for Syracuse. I don't understand why so many people think Clemson can get it done. And they can't score in the red zone, and Syracuse doesn't allow you to score in the red zone.
Yes, I like this Syracuse team ranks top 5 in all categories, basically. Good, well-coached football team. Just like Duke, here's your opportunity.
Here's your chance. Yeah, right. Here's your chance.
Big game for them. So give me the Cuse +7, and I get it over a touchdown, I believe. Well, I get it at 7.
No, it's down.
Well,
6.5.
Push opportunity there.
Yeah.
I know you like putting that extra column out there, but we ain't gonna need it. Cuse,
We ain't gonna need it.
Cuse may win this thing straight up.
Hey, isn't this their shot though? Like, when was the last time they were just I think it was like 2 years ago. They were like 7-point or
Donovan
10-point dog or
McNabb
something.
team or something. I don't know. Doing the Carrier Dome that didn't have an air conditioner. Remember that shit?
Right.
And
It's
then
so
the
bad.
fucking sponsor of the whole stadium wouldn't have put air in the damn
Now they're in
thing.
the JMA Wireless Dome is the name of it. Whatever
Probably
the
ain't
hell
got
that is.
internet.
Probably not.
Anyway, Cuse +7.
I like it. All right, so go to one of my other Sun Belt, and this is a team Paul and I kind of fell in love with last year, kind of because they're moving up from FCS, and they started out on fire last year, and they've done it again this year. The James Madison Dukes. They are at home taking on South Alabama Jags. So, Franklin, I remember during y'all's previous shows, you thought South Alabama. Well, I did, and boy, I was wrong. They haven't beaten anybody worth. They lost to Tulane. They just lost to Central Michigan. Bad loss. They beat Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma State is not any good this year, and they can't score.
I don't know what's wrong with that team.
So you're only gonna it's a 3-point spread, and I'm gonna keep harping on this. When the game is 3 points, I'm taking the better quarterback. McLeod at James Madison is the better quarterback here. They know how to score. They're 37th in scoring offense. I'd see the Dukes getting a really nice win here. They're only giving up James Madison's only giving up 41 yards on the ground, and they can be beat in the air. But again, I don't think that. I think his name is Bradley for South Alabama. I don't think he's going to be able to beat James Madison in the air. And he said, what about the Virginia game? Well, sometimes games get weird, and that Virginia-James Madison game got weird. The defense is not as bad as those stats may show. So I really think James Madison holds serve here. and stays undefeated, getting the
Yeah, that's a telling stat. South Alabama relies on the run. They
Yeah.
can't throw it, and
Well,
then the other team leads the country
yeah,
in rush defense.
yeah. They
so,
give up 41 yards on the ground a game. I mean, so it's just a bad matchup, I think, for South Alabama. And I just love this James Madison story. They just keep getting it done.
Yeah, it seems like a bad line there for the.
It actually feels a little trappy. You would probably think this line should be about 6. But hey, I'm going to take it. I don't think it's trappy at all. I think they can handle South Alabama pretty easily. So James Madison, the Dukes, -3.
The Dukies. Let's see where I'm at. I got one game I looked at. I'll talk about it after we get done. Notre Dame at Duke, 6:30 on NBC. I like the under 52.
This may be my favorite play that's on the board between our our 12 picks that we're putting out. I looked at this one hard and I saw that you had it, so I stayed away from it. They both can play good defense.
Yeah.
Notre Dame proved that last week.
Duke's only given up double-digit points once this year, and I believe that was 2 Clemson.
Yeah.
This is their biggest test to date. The Irish just dropped a brutal wait a minute, I got the wrong. Yeah, brutal loss to Ohio State. They're physically, emotionally drained. So, I don't know. This traditionally, Notre Dame doesn't do well against ranked opponents on the road.
But the only stat that I will say is that Notre Dame has owned the ACC in the last few years. That's the only thing going against the Dukies here. But hey,
I'm looking at it 24-21, 2017, or some 27-20, something like that.
yeah, 2 really good quarterbacks, but 2 really good defenses, and I think Duke's gonna try to fill it out early. They've done really well at keeping teams out of the end zone, forcing field goals. And we saw what Notre Dame could do against the high-powered Ohio State attack. So I think both quarterbacks, Sam Hartman and Riley Leonard, are going to find it difficult sledding early. And I love this thing under 52.
Yeah, Duke catches them at the perfect time.
Coming off that big loss.
Yeah. I like this Notre Dame team, but
The coach is getting questioned because he didn't have enough people on the
Can't
field.
now they'll have 12.
Now they'll get caught with too many on the
Anyway,
field.
give me the under 52, 6:30 NBC game on prime time.
Yeah. Good luck to the Duke Blue Devils. I think I'll be rooting for them just because.
The Fighting Cutcliffes.
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
No, old Mike Elko's doing a great job there in Durham. All right, so we'll go to my third Sun Belt matchup on my picks. The undefeated Georgia State Panthers are at home after coming off a big win against Coastal Carolina. I know Coastal is I think the new coach there is just letting that thing fall apart. It really, really hurts my soul not to be able to bet with my Chanticleers. But hey, sometimes you got to move on. You got to find that right wagon to ride. So. The Troy Trojans go into Georgia State. This is basically a pick 'em. It's just -1. And who knows what the line will be come Saturday. But Georgia State has been really good again. Like I said, they're 4-0. Troy is 114th in red zone defense. Okay? Georgia State is 20th in the country in red zone scoring. So when they get in there, they can score. And when Troy lets you get there, they let you score.
Yeah, I think Georgia State scores from far too, don't they?
So, I mean, with this being a Sun Belt matchup, a conference game, both of these teams are going to be playing hard. I'm going to give the edge to the home team here and the team that can actually put it in the end zone against the team who can't stop you. So every time they get a chance, they should be able to punch it in. And you hope Georgia State can just keep Troy out of the end zone, forcing field goals there. I think it'll be a close game, probably a 5-6 point game, and it's only 1. So I'll take Georgia State Panthers -1 in a low scoring at 2017.
Which is something you wouldn't have said 5 years ago.
No, I wouldn't.
All right, moving on. My turn.
Yeah.
Give me Air Force -10 playing San Diego State, 7 o'clock on CBS Sports. It's too much for the Aztecs here. Air Force is a damn handful. No matter where you can.
They're good. They're just good. I mean, they're
They stay on the field. They keep your offense off the field. They beat the shit out of you. They
Grown ass men.
eat the clock. Air Force won by 10 at their place last year. There's two teams going in the opposite direction, in my opinion. Air Force, easy.
I love this pick. Like, so we both have what I would call a wagon pick, and this is the one. There's two teams out there that maybe three, but with Air Force being one of them. I mean, they're incredible. You know, I had that Air Force pick last week against San Jose State. It was 6, and they won 45-20.
Yeah,
I mean, they keep wearing on you. Like, it was a close game in the first half. And then San Jose State had nothing. They just couldn't stay on the field with these boys, these men, basically, at Air Force. And the Air Force is a little more dynamic than your typical Navy or military team. So
they're really good.
And then they can do it on defense too. So I just don't think San Diego State has a shot here. It may be a 17-point win, another 20-point win for the Falcons. So I'm with you here. Ride that wagon.
329 yards rushing a game.
Is that good?
And they're probably, I bet, I don't know, I can't pull it up real quick, but I'm probably going to guess they're top 5 in
rushing?
No, bottom 5 in plays per game. They just eat at you.
Let's take a look. I got this. This team rankings does a good job.
Yeah, I got some of it pulled up.
Let's just take a look here. What do we want to look at? Not player. We want to look at team stats.
Yeah, I got,
Let's take a look at the rushing offense. Rushing yards per game. And Air Force, number 1.
Yeah, 329 right there.
And what is the defensive side of that? Let's find San Diego State and see what they do defensively against the run.
You're probably going to go down there.
Let's see.
I'm going to start at the bottom and go up.
Well, I'm just going to pull up their team stats. They're 70th in the rushing. They're 118th.
That's a respectable number.
No, you want a low number.
Giving up 197 yards a game. Oh boy, Air Force about to eat.
Yeah, this is going to be just. They give up 197 a game, which is 112th in the country. Yards per rush is where they're 118th. Air Force may average 8 yards a run in this game.
Yeah. Well, we say that, and then we'll be midway through the third quarter.
It'll be a 10-3 final.
I'll be throwing shit. They beat them by 10 at home last year. They should be able to.
I think they can handle. Like you said, there are two programs going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that play. All right, I'm gonna go back to the state of Georgia. They're not going to be in the state of Georgia, but the Georgia Bulldogs are headed to take on the Auburn Tigers. And this play is pretty simple for me. I know Carson Beck hasn't been great for the Bulldogs, and they're still working on that offense. The difference here is on the other side, the Auburn Tigers cannot score. Georgia eventually can get in the end zone, but Auburn's got a bad quarterback issue. They don't know if they want Peyton Thorne out there. They want Robbie Ashford out there. They may have to go to the freshman they got and see what he's got. They only managed 3 offensive points against the Aggies. Now they're going up against the Georgia Bulldogs. This is a whole different. They've got as much or more talent, obviously, than the Aggies do on the defensive side of the ball. So I just don't see how Auburn scores, and I think Georgia can score 24.
Yeah, they got it 35-12. I don't know how Auburn gets 12. I guess they go for 2 a lot. I don't know.
Maybe. Or they get a defensive touchdown. Auburn's defense has been good. I mean, hell, that's their only touchdown last week was a defensive touchdown.
And I stand by this statement. Hugh Freeze he's gonna get somebody. It ain't gonna be Georgia.
And it may not be this year.
Yeah,
I mean, because they just can't score. They just cannot score.
He's like Dion. Anywho.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the Georgia Bulldogs minus 14.5, and I hope that line stays there. I already hate that I got to pay the hook, but it is what it is. I see this game 23-3.
I was just looking at some of these scores I got put up. I ain't called them out. All right. Air Force 26-16, which is would it be about right? You mother. Flippers. They're wrong. It's gonna be way. Yeah, we're gonna cover that. All right, back to me. Where I'm at, Marshall minus 14, hosting Old Dominion. What is their mascot?
The Monarchs is Old Dominion, right? Are they the Monarchs?
Yeah, that is right. Way to go. I was stumped there.
Yeah.
Marshall comes off a rivalry win against Virginia Tech, the same team that beat Old Dominion by 19 earlier this year. Too much firepower from the Thunder and Herd. Old Dominion just not going to be able to hang around in this one. 14 should be just easy. So, should be probably 21.
Marshall runs the ball really well, don't they?
Yeah,
Am I mistaken in that? Don't they have a pretty good running game?
Yeah, I didn't do a whole lot of notes on this game just because I thought it was.
One of those easy ones.
It just looks funky. I was like, man.
Yeah, it looks like they put up 163 rush yards a game, and they'll probably be able to be pretty balanced against Old Dominion. So I don't think there's any. I like the 14. They're laying the 14.
That game's on ESPN Plus, by the way.
So you got to go out there and find a buddy with a ESPN Plus subscription.
We
get that on the TV.
I think we chase these games down. I mean, we go to the ends of the earth to find a winner, and sometimes we overlook the obvious, but we do what we got to do.
So now I'll go to my wagon play of the week, and this is pretty simple. The Washington Huskies has been beating everybody big. Michael Penix Jr., we've mentioned it. He's really, really good. And they're going to Arizona, but Arizona just announced that Jaden Laura will not be playing. He got hurt in the last game, and so he's out. That line was 18, but has now moved to – well, I looked earlier, it was 20, and now it's 19. It's just kind of moving up and down. I hope it stays there. Yeah, I can get my bet in before it moves to 21 or 22.
Yeah, if it's anything under 20, that's interesting.
Yeah, because they'll have this game in hand by halftime.
Well, it's not like the Arizona Wildcat faithful are going to be just drowning everything out, and you can't hear the play call.
No,
not going to be a raucous crowd. They're going to still be on the lake at 9:00 on Saturday night.
That's right.
I ain't worried about no football.
I mean, and they're 3-1, but without your starting quarterback, and now they're going up against who I think Washington is one of the top 3 teams in the country, not number 7. They should be up there
with the Heisman favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm riding them. They've been good to me all year. I'm gonna keep continuing to ride the Washington Huskies.
I'm curious to see how that Pac-12 plays out. 14, whatever the hell they are. A lot of good teams up there. All right, 11 o'clock on the Big Ten Network, boy.
Oh, my God.
Give me Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, plus 11 at Minnesota. Louisiana lost their starting quarterback, but they brought in a true freshman. Zion Chris is his name. He runs, he throws, he can do it all. He's like Mike Vick out there. If you pull up his stats, you'll be like, holy crap. This will be his first true test against probably a decent defense, but Minnesota has trouble with everything. I mean, they play a half-assed defense, but I mean, they may not score 11 points.
They can't. They've had trouble scoring. I mean, their quarterback on the year has 599 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
Which is just more than I got
through 4 games.
Coming off a loss against Northwestern, which is atrocious. They barely beat Nebraska to open up the year, which Nebraska's in a rebuild, which they always seem to be in a rebuild. But, I mean, you can't lose to Northwestern. You can't do it. They're kind of like Iowa to me. If they're a double-digit favorite against me and Franklin,
they're
it's
going
too
to struggle.
High. It's too much. No way they're a double-digit favorite against anybody in the country. And probably some high schools. If IMG went up there, I'd probably put it at +1.
Yeah, maybe. That's right.
Anyway, so yeah, give me the Raging Cajuns plus 11. Watch this quarterback if you ain't. I mean, I know it's a bad time, 11 o'clock in the morning. A lot of other games gonna be going on, but guy seems to be really, really good.
Yeah, so look for the freshmen to do some work against the Gophers there up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the Huntington Bank Stadium. Does that doesn't make you
They're at
scared or nervous or
that
anything?
boat sunk.
Yeah, yeah, they did not row well last
They're
week.
not rowing the boat.
Wasn't a lot of rowing last week for sure.
Hey.
A couple other games before. Well, let me explain this middle. So, Paul told me to put in the pick this week for charity. So,
Because I've
said
been
it-
so good.
so for this week, we're going to play a teaser instead of doing money liners. And so these are the 5 teams that I picked. Now I put the spread that's the current spread. So we're going to tease all that by 6 points. So Georgia will be -8. Kansas will go up to 22.5. Maryland down to -8. Missouri down to you get the idea. For those of you who follow along and know how to bet. And so the Duke game would be under 58. Of course, that all depends on when I place the bet, if the line's moved, a half point or a point. So we're going to take those 5 teams, and we're going to tease those 4 spreads and tease that under in the Notre Dame Duke game and see if we can't finally get one of these charity picks home.
We need to get one. This is getting ridiculous.
So a couple other plays where my money will be, I just didn't put them out as picks, but some other plays I'm looking at, Paul, is all right. So you're gonna think, what a sick game. Why would you even? I probably won't watch it. But the Pittsburgh Panthers go to play the Virginia Tech Hokies. So you got to differentiate between what's a bad team and what's an awful team. Okay, and Virginia Tech is awful. Pitt's actually played okay. They didn't play terrible against North Carolina. I know the score showed differently. So I think I'm gonna toss a little at Pitt -2.5 against the Virginia Tech Hokies. A team that's been good to me, the Maryland Terrapins. They're a 14-point spread this weekend against Indiana. Indiana struggled to beat Akron last week. Had to go to overtime to get that done, and Maryland's just been kind of a machine this year, just covering bunches of spreads. Has done for me for 3 weeks in a row. So probably look at Maryland again, and then match up in the Big 12. A team that's been riding their defense, and then another team that's rebounded from their ugly Week 1 loss to the Colorado Buffaloes. West Virginia travels to Fort Worth, Texas.
That is an interesting.
Take on
debacle.
TCU Horned Frogs, and both teams right now are playing really good defense, which is crazy to say after the way TCU performed against Colorado. I just don't think they were ready, and just didn't understand what Colorado was going to be bringing. I don't think they put much attention on them. So 2 teams are, again, riding their defense. West Virginia's going to run it. They're going to keep this thing slow. I'd look at the under here too, 51.5. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of points scored in this game. So looking at that, I think it's going to be a low total. So you're going to give me West Virginia, and now it's 14. I'll take that all week. I'll take West Virginia plus 14 at TCU this weekend.
I don't hate it.
Did you have any other plays that you might take a look at this weekend?
The one I looked at, but it initially struck me as odd. And the reason I looked at it harder, anyway, we'll go into it. USC at Colorado. This is an 11 o'clock kickoff for local Central Time. They're going to tee that thing up at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, yeah.
Neither one of these teams go to bed before 9 o'clock in the morning half the time. So that's, when I said earlier, I think this thing's probably going to get to 50 to 50, whatever. At 10 o'clock at night, probably, but I don't know how they're going to respond. You having to get up that early. They have to start their day at 6.
Yeah. I mean, and that's an
At
early.
least.
I mean, that's a lot of points to score at 9 o'clock in the morning.
And these guys here probably ain't seen 6 o'clock in a whole minute. So, anyways, that's the only reason I didn't dive deeper into that game. Can USC beat them by 21? Yes.
Yes.
Will they? Who knows?
If I'm betting that game, I'm taking USC. Probably you can get them -11.5 first half.
Another game I looked at that struck me as odd is where's that Texas Tech game at?
Yeah, I just don't know, man. Can they?
It's double
Texas
digits.
Tech has been bad. It's 8.5.
Yeah, is it 8.5?
Yeah, Texas Tech favored by 8. Now they're good in Lubbock. That's the difference.
Yeah,
Of
it's
this
8.5.
team.
Yeah, but why are they favored though?
That I don't know. It just is
By
weird,
more than a
right?
touchdown. That is just that. I looked at that and I was like, something's fishy. That's why I didn't play that. I was gonna play it. I don't. Whatever. More power to them.
You talk about a rat line. That's a line over in Oxford, Mississippi. I don't know. I know these games get weird, but 2.5 LSU 2.5. You know that's Vegas saying, "Come on, come on,
No,
give us all your." Because people are they got to be hammering LSU at 2.5.
Well, they're hammering them, and then they're getting money line from the other way. So that thing will probably land on like what 1 or 2.
Yeah,
And it's be the
and
whole.
Vegas will
It'll
just
be
be
one.
raking
Yeah, it'll be
it in.
one. It'll be what?
28-27
Yeah, we'll go for 2 to win it.
and
It'll
not
be
get
35-34 or some crap like that. That's what they got it 28-27 on Sportsline.
it. Yeah, I know. Isn't that what I think I just said 28-27. That's funny. Oh my God, I hate when that happens.
Western to Kentucky scored. If you got
Yeah,
any interest in that.
I do. I got some money spread around tonight.
But that's pretty much it. I mean, I like Fresno State minus 24.5 on the late night tilt. Fresno State's a really good football team. Nevada is not.
No,
They can get some.
that's a lot of points. 24 now.
Shit, not when it's 35-0.5.
That's kind of why I took Washington since it's a 9 o'clock game. So if I have a bad,
Just wake up and look at it.
yeah, if I have a bad day going on early, at least I know I got my Washington Huskies at the end to try to help pull that thing back together.
No. All right.
All right, well, let's. I'm just gonna pull up the schedule. I know some people may be wanting to hear. Let's just take a look at the NFL slate this week. I'll pull up some. We're not gonna talk about any rat games like whoever Denver. I think it's Denver and the Bears. If you go bet that game, that's on you.
Well,
I can't help you.
If you're a fantasy football player, remember to set your lineups because Atlanta and Jacksonville play at 8:30 Central Sunday morning.
Yeah, so I hope my daughter's watching. Please put Justin Fields on the bench. Just get rid of him. Drop him and go put my boy Brock Purdy in. That's why you picked him up off waivers. So, Brielle, if you're watching, go put Brock Purdy in your lineup. Stop with this Justin Fields nonsense.
Yeah, so don't wake up and then the game be starting. You're stuck with somebody's not even playing. So, anyways, all right, go ahead.
Lions Packers tonight.
Oh man, that's gonna be a good one.
Starts in about 12 minutes. I love the Lions.
I like the Jahmyr Gibbs over. I think it's 36.5 when I looked at it a while ago. I didn't bet it, but I wanted to.
Is David Montgomery still banged up? I don't think he played much last week.
Yeah, he's the start, but Gibbs is still gonna get the ball.
He's a burner. Here's a game that I can't. It's overseas, over in the Wembley Stadium in London. Falcons and the Jags. I don't know what's wrong with the Jags. That line's begging you to take Jacksonville at just -3.
Yeah, just don't. That's gonna be weird. It's probably gonna be raining.
Yeah, it's just that game never turns. And now here's one that you expect to be 45-40, and it'll probably end up 13-10. The Dolphins travel to Buffalo, take on the Bills in Orchard Park.
And
up there in
don't
New
just run
York.
out there and grab the over because they scored 70 points last
That's
week.
what I'm saying. The over-under is 53.5, and both these teams can score it.
Yeah. I talk about a trap. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, your Steelers.
Don't do it. Don't.
It's only 3, Paul. I
don't-
can. You can't.
Don't go bet that. That's don't.
You don't think they can beat the Houston Texans? C.J. Stroud, Texans.
There's internal weirdness going on between the coaching staff that they're not letting out, but they're sneaking out slowly. I don't know what's going on, but
You don't know.
this is the game they don't care. They'll go to Houston, get the. It's just the bad losses that they take. Now, if it was a AFC North game, then oh yeah. But no, not Houston. Watch that. Don't just jump out there thinking you got an easy one there.
Yeah. One game that I don't hate is Minnesota. I know they're 0-3. They're also going to Charlotte, North Carolina, take on the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, Josh's buddy
But
leading the league.
but I think the Panthers are going back to Bryce Young. I think they're saying he's healthy enough, and that falls right into the hands of the Vikings because, last week the Panthers were kind of feisty for a while against Seattle with the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton back in there slinging it around for the Panthers. So if he goes back to the bench and they bring in Bryce Young, that only helps the Vikings. That line's only 4.
Yeah, they I think Kirk Cousins leads the league in passing yards too. So I don't know how good that Carolina defense is, but he could chew them up pretty good.
And then big lines, I'd say just stay you don't go try to lay the Eagles at -9. I know they're playing the Commanders, but that is a conference. I mean, that's a divisional game. I know Philly's been really good. The Commanders, Sam Howell, they play hard though, but it's just hard to lay that many points in the NFL. Goodness gracious!
All right, no, I don't. I can't get on the right side of the NFL for nothing. It gets squirrely, and that they call it the wishing hour or whatever.
Every time the fourth quarter comes and you're up, you're like, here it comes.
Yeah, you're trying to figure out what you're gonna do at that 305, 325 slate. You're like, okay, I'm gonna have a little money coming in. I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna have tickets to cash. I can get aggressive, and then next thing you know, you're just sitting there with nothing.
Nothing, and you're tearing up tickets or setting them on fire. So explain this one to me.
Okay.
The Joshua Dobbs-led Arizona Cardinals coming off the huge win against the Dallas Cowboys.
I saw something where they didn't even offer his uniform. Like you couldn't go buy you a Joshua Dobbs jersey. He was like, "What the hell, guys? He's a starting quarterback in the NFL. You can't even get his jersey."
So why is it a 14-point line of them going to San Francisco? Right, San Francisco should handle this, but I thought the Cowboys were going to handle Cardinals last week. And that was a double-digit line. The Cardinals win, and now you're still trying to make me lay 14 points. That's ridiculous. This line should be 9 or 10.
I don't trust none of it.
So, but I won't be betting that game. I'll be watching it though to bring my 49ers home. Got my shirt on tonight, so
if you like to do a 5 and 10 team parlay. Do a player prop parlay instead of a game parlay.
Mm-hmm.
At least you got a legit chance of that. I mean,
well, the one thing about those player prop parlays, them damn things, those odds can tick up quick.
It don't take long, especially if it's the same game.
Yeah, that if you want to do that, that's the way to go. Just go find you some players you think will go out there and run for more than 40 yards or catch for more than 50 yards. Or, of course, I had Mike Evans over 63.5. Was that Monday night that they had the doubleheader?
Yeah.
And he went out there and got 60. Like, come on, man. One more catch.
How do they know?
One more catch. But I did cash a ticket that I got plus money on. Over 3.5 field goals at plus 120. And they kicked 4 or 5 field goals in that game. So
how many? So on Sunday on NFL Sportsline always puts a projected score out, which is just fun to look at. 6 of the games, and there's 18 games, 17 games. They got
that many games.
They got 6 of them 1-score games.
And yet we got a whole bunch of we got several big lines.
Well, I mean, you got plus 2.5, 22-21. Plus 4, 23-22. Plus 3, 24-23.
Of course.
Minus 3, 22-21. Plus 2.5, 20-19. How in the hell? I mean, you can't, the hell with it. I ain't, they're not, nope.
He warned all of you.
Tulsa scored again.
He warned everybody that at some point he would be giving up on the NFL. I just did not know it would come in week 4 of the NFL.
Shit, I made it long. Well, it was week 3 last year.
Was it week 3 last year?
Yeah, no, look, I have no issue with dialing up a player prop or something like that. I'm 100% behind that and go get it. But for me to put out a spread pick or a total pick, it ain't gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen.
So there were 17 expert picks put out for tonight's game in between Detroit and Green Bay. 17.
Yeah, well, they're not all of them are some of them are player props and totals, and they're always against each other. And that's another thing. We've said this since we started this podcast: is don't just go out there and take some dude trying to give you take. And even us, when we give these picks out, go do your own research, because they're not agreeing with each other. They got the same game, same player, and they're seeing it different ways. Go
Yeah.
look and find out why they think it's going to be whatever way they think it's going to be, and you may agree with them, and you may not, and it may keep you out of trouble. I mean,
And one thing about it that I like is just when you read the guys that actually give good reasoning for their pick. Sometimes they'll put a pick out and they'll say, well, this has happened 3 out of the last 4 times they've met. I mean, okay, but what else you got? Give me something.
yeah, don't fall. I mean, actually do.
And
The
then when you
research.
read the guys that actually have something, sometimes you pick up on some information. Oh, I didn't realize, they were that good on defense. I didn't realize they gave up that many points, gave up that many rush yards.
And don't sell me this line of shit. Well, I don't got time to do all that. And then I heard some people say, "Well, let us do the work for you." Bullshit. You got time. You're on
You
your
got
phone.
time. You know what kills me, Paul? You look down through some of these. I'm just scrolling through these 17 experts that put out plays for tonight.
Yeah.
Every single one of these people, they have their what they're up on the year,
Yes.
and they're all in the green. Come,
Yeah.
now, what are they using? Like this guy said, he's 3-0-1 in his last NFL picks. Okay, sure. Are you really?
Well,
6-1 in his last 7.
You don't count your losses, Franklin.
I don't
That
think they
doesn't-
are.
you
I
don't-
think they're throwing out games. It's like I didn't really want to pick that one, so I'm throwing that one out.
You don't add money that you lose. When you lose it, you lost it. You don't add it. How can you
Are you
add a
s-
loss? What are you talking about? That's silly.
I
I thought you were better at math.
Come on, man. This guy's on fire here. He's 17-9-1. This RJ White plus 1,082 is what he's up in his NFL picks.
He's actually pretty good. I thought. Anyways, let's we're not calling names out. Well, anyways, all right.
Super stat geek. I wonder how can we get some of these nicknames. How can we get us a nickname?
Hey,
Well, ours are on the screen right there. Frankie J and PJ. I guess that's what we use.
Anyway. All right.
All right, so that's our picks. You see them on the screen. We got 12 picks out there. We hope to get home that charity 6-point teaser to get us, because that'll get us what, about 4.5 to 1, probably, or 4 to 1 with 5 teams. It's somewhere in there. So maybe we can get that thing rolling. And so good luck to everybody else. Let's go out there just like I did last week. Let's cash some tickets, and we'll hope Paul has a better week this week, right, Paul?
Oh, we both have good weeks.
I think he gave himself a good pep talk. I think he's been. I think he got listened to a Lou Holtz game speech before he put his picks out this week.
Yeah, something went wrong.
So, all right. So that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Thanks for tuning in to Cashing Tickets. And so this weekend, go out there, put these picks in, or fade us, and maybe we all can go cash some tickets. Thanks for joining.
See ya.